Hi, welcome back to Let's Get Started. If this is the first time you're joining us, welcome. We are going to take a look at getting this nice little rusty patina going on our model using some speed paints and some acrylics. Now, as you can see, this model's already done, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go pick up our extra model just here. Do I want this to be tomorrow? No, I don't, because I've set him aside over here already. There we go. So, all we're going to do is cover off these white armour pieces in our colours. So what are we going to need? Well, we are going to need our speed paints. Now, in this case, I will be using Camo Cloak and Rustic Grey. Now I'm going to mix these together, and this will give me a sort of greenish baseline. And then I'm going to dry brush on some Evil Scarlet, and then on top of that I'm going to do some Runfang Steel. Now it sounds a bit odd going in reverse order. Usually you think to go steel first then rust on top, but you'll see once we get through it. So I want to try and keep things in focus as much as I can, so I don't want to clutter up my desk too much for you guys. Okay, so Camo Cloak, give this a bit of a shake up, and we are going to pop in 1, 2, 3 drops. Yeah, 3 drops. Let's just start with 3. We can always add more. And then we're going to do our grey, and again 3 drops. 1, 2, 3. Must admit I am a bit of a fan of these speed paint dropper bottles. They really are handy. And just before I forget, because I know I will, and we're going to have to stop later on, so let's pop down our sheet on our wet pad. And let that soak in, and I like to flip it over as well so we get some moisture on the other side. And there we go. That's good enough for us. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so now we're going to mix with our brush. So I'm just going to get a smidge of water on the brush, and I've got my tissue to dry off a little bit, and then we are going to just mix this all together. And there we go. Okay, so let's just go for it. Yeah, there we go, so we're in focus, and we are just going to slap this on. Doesn't really matter too much, because it's just going to flow around everywhere we need it to go. And this is the thing I like about speed paints, is that you can be rather heavy-handed if you're using acrylics as well, because acrylics will help hide any mistakes you make. Whereas if you are just using speed paints, you might need to be a smidge more careful, simply because it will flow to some areas that you don't want it to. But, you know, that's alright. And here we go. So I've only actually done this once on the model that you've previously seen, and it took me a little while to sort of figure it out as we go. And you're probably wondering, like, why am I taking some of the excess paint from the shoulder pads when it's going to dry anyway? Well, I want that nice sort of mishmash of shapes and within the paint. And we're going to get a bit more paint, and just, you know, there we go, pop that on, and here we go. That's it, nice and easy squeezy, as they say. And just make sure we get into there, just under there. Fantastic. And there we go. So one thing I did notice about our last video is the quality was much better. So we're going to try again with this webcam. The audio itself, though, I don't know how well that's going to come through, so I may have to re-record the audio, so hopefully you'll bear with me on that one. And we're also going to get his shoes, and there we go, just get the underside of those shoes. There we go, yep, that's it right there. Now I have some music on in my headphones, and I am trying my hardest not to sing, so I'm going to apologise now if I just randomly burst out with a line or two from a song. Hopefully it won't affect the video in any way. Maybe you'll think a lot less of me, but that's alright. Okay, there we go. So we're just going to get this onto there. It doesn't have to be pretty. And there you go. Okay, so that is pretty much it for those. Just going to let that dry for a moment, and we'll just get in there as well. There we go. Okay, oh, we just missed the spot, and there we go. And there we go. Okay, so we're just going to give that a moment to dry. While we wait, I'm just going to bring back the other model, and we are going to have a little look at what we're trying to achieve. So let's bring this guy up nice and close so you can see. So what will happen is, because there's going to be a sort of greeny undercoat, if you will, from the paint, when we add the red, it gives it this rusted patina look. And then what we'll do is we're going to go over the top of it with the metallic, so it looks like there's still some metal to it. And it's nothing special. And the reason I chose speed paint first is because when you dry brush in a sort of damp style, it reactivates the paint, and so you get these nice cool little effects going on, like just like this part here. If we can bring it back into focus, there you go. So just like this part here, so you see how it's sort of scuffed and rubbed away a bit, like it's been beaten quite a bit. And that's what we want. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want. Whether you want something else is entirely up to you. We've also tried this with a blue over the top. So there you go. So we've kept that green base undertone, and all we've done is put blue. I think it's Tempest blue, dry brushed over the top to give this sort of a magical look to it, which came out all right. So let's take a look. This should be just about dry. There's a small damp patch at the back, but that's fine. Okay, next up we need our Evil Scarlet. Okay, and we are going to take that and our dry brush. I'm just going to stick it in. Don't worry, folks. I'm going to take it to my wet palette, give it a whirl around, and I have my dry brush palette right here. So we're going to give that a little whirl, and then give that a good going over. And is that enough? Yeah, there we go. So we are going to basically just do a bit of stippling, which is the dabbing, and some sort of sweeping of the brush. It can go in any direction, okay? It doesn't have to be the same direction, doesn't have to be the same pressure, okay? All we're doing is just sort of bringing out all that goodness. And you can see it occurring pretty much immediately, which is great, and it's so quick. to change and to do it. And there we go. So let's get into there, and then we're gonna just go onto here. See how it's just chipping out sections of it. And don't worry about getting all the other parts, you know, in a different colour. That's fine. We'll fix that later. And what I can do is I have a smaller brush, so I've got a smaller one just in case we can get into the little edges. But let's there you go. Let's give this a bit more of a bashing. Now we want to actually just add a smidge of water to this, just sort of rinse it out, and there we go. Look at that, look. See how much paint is actually in there. Okay, and then we're just going to dab it on, there we go. There you go, that's it, nice and blotchy. There we go, hopefully we're not too out of focus. And yeah, we seem to be fine. Let's just get the feet and the knee pad. And there we go, and there. That's that. Okay, nice and easy. Now let's just rinse off our brush. And we'll dry it off, get it nice and taken care of. Remember folks, take care of your brushes, and don't lick the tips, okay? It's just weird. Just use water and a napkin like everyone else, like be normal, okay? Okay, now let's take a look. Look how rusty that is. That has just absolutely gone horrifically patinaed, and I like it, okay? I suck at painting, but I like it. And yes, it's kind of picking up some of the white undercoat, but that's fine. Just adds to a bit of the flavour. In fact, what we can do is we're just going to take our smaller brush, gonna get that, and then just rinse that off. And all we're going to do, there you go, just get into these little bits here, just with a bit of rubbing, bit of stippling, just to sort of bring that out a little bit. You know, I know it's, you know, not really a big difference, but for me, I wanted to do it. There we go. Okay, and then we've just got under there, so that's fine. And there you go, get around those edges. That's a little bit too red, but that's fine. I'll cover that up. Okay, and we're just going to rinse that brush off. Okay, and again, dry it off. And I have just knocked off something on a model. Played around with magnets on one of my models, and you know, just to try it out, see what it was like. Okay, so that should be relatively dry. So what we're going to do now is take our Run Fix steel. Going to give this a bit of a shake up, as we always do, and open it up. Now, the thing with this part is that you need less, because if you just go at it, you're going to end up with something that looks a lot more like this, where it's just sort of dry brushed steel on top. Okay, so we get our brush, we're going to take the tiny bit, bring it to our wet palette, get it nice in the bristles, going to get a bit more, again just get it in those bristles. Now I use the wet palette because it has the water in it, so it helps bring things to a bit more moisture. And here we go, let's just absolutely get rid of that. Alright, let's give it a shot folks. Now we're going to go and stipple on top. Now it might be that this is too bright, so we have to darken our metallic, which is fine by me. Yeah, so I think that's a smidge too much on the bright side. Okay, let's just change to a darker metallic. let's go for lead belcher. Give that a good sort of shake up. Yeah, I think this is the one I used last time, which is the lead belcher. There we go. Okay, so we're just going to take that and we're going to put it back on a wet patch. It's the same spot as the lighter stuff. Doesn't really make too much difference. Okay, let's get that in the bristles. There we go. And then give this a good brush off. So this is why a dry brush palette is always handy, whether you make it yourself or you buy one. It's always handy. Okay, there we go. That's it. So there you go. You can see only after a few dabs we are sort of cooking away here. You can see the difference ever so slightly. So we are going to, there you go. Don't want to do it too much. I need to get it out of focus. That's the big thing with these this camera, is that it's never focusing on the right thing. There you go, and let's just do that. There you go, look at that. Instant change compared to the back of it. And let's see if we can get that back into focus for you. There you go. Okay, let's see if we can't keep it here. Just while we put this on. Just move that off the thing. There you go. Okay, give the camera something else to focus on. So here's the difference where we can really show you what happens to it. So you see where the front is, and then if we just sort of give that a good stipple in on top, and just there, and there you go. Let's see, let's get that back into focus. There you go, see? Absolutely spectacular. Okay, and we'll just get the shoes. Now, depending on how much you want it to be rusted is entirely up to you. There you go. That's it. And that is a nice sort of rusted colour. Now let me just clean my brush. And I think that's come out pretty well. And there we go. So there's our figure. There you go. And if we get the other one and we can compare the two of them. Let's see if it'll bring him into focus. Evidently not. Let's see if we can't do this. There you go. And they look very similar. And I think that is absolutely fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Awesome. I am so proud of that. You may notice with this model that there's actually a bit more highlighting over the skin than this, but we'll get to that eventually. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, whatever you choose to be as. One nice rusted armour for your pleasure. And that is fantastic. You have a nice day, folks. And hey, maybe I'll see you in the next video.